We're going to jump into best practice number 1, which is direct in Partner Center, identifying the right customers and understanding that MACC or marketplace, the commit to consume flag that's there. And so I'm going to walk you through a handful of best practices. The first one is going to be right around selecting the right customer and how I usually use this today. First one here is going to be around the customer company location. You'll notice I see a lot of partners putting in like specific addresses, street addresses, things of that nature. Those take a long time to type in, to look up in your CRM system, all these things. Most of us, if we see Ford, we know that it's in the United States. We don't have to look up anything. And so start with just the country when you're looking at company location. It's going to be a broad search, but you're going to get you're going to get to essentially choose the account that you want to, which in my book is the best way to do it. So start with the country and start there. And in this case, we're using Ford. Second thing to understand are these tabs right here at the top. So we have Microsoft Managed, Microsoft Unmanaged, and Other. Off the bat, I typically recommend to ignore the Other category because it doesn't give us a ton of telemetry that we can act on really meaningfully. And so with that, we're going to focus on Microsoft Managed, which essentially just is a Microsoft way of saying we have an account seller aligned to this particular customer that you can co-sell with. Versus Microsoft Unmanaged is saying we don't have an account team assigned to this particular customer. So co-sell efforts, like there's not going to be essentially an account team to work with. And so really, we're going to prioritize this Microsoft Managed bucket. Another value of just being more generic upfront with your searches is you're going to get more results in this Microsoft Managed bucket. And it's going to let you pick and choose which customer you actually want to look at. Next best practice is frankly, like, this is a really great example. I love the Ford example because it shows a lot of nuances that if you don't understand, it can be quite confusing. So one, we have Ford, who is clearly a managed customer by Microsoft. However, you can see there's actually 37 instances of Ford that are unmanaged. So we know already that like the customer list is not the most hygienic thing, but we know because we do have a managed instance here, we can pretty much ignore everything in this unmanaged bucket, and we're going to sort through only this managed bucket. Then we can see that there's this parent account here, which is great. It also has all these sub accounts. Now, super important to understand that I don't need to spend time sifting through all of these particular sub accounts to pick the specific one, a specific address that I'm selling to, because Ford is managed by one Microsoft seller, one sales team at Microsoft. So no matter what I pick, I'm always going to get routed to the same seller. And so I can just choose the top parent one. I can choose whichever one here. It's all going to essentially map to the exact same customer. I don't have to spend time actually going in there like picking a specific one. That's best practice number 3 that I've given you. We're going to go over to this MACC Flag. So MACC Flag is, it's not to the point where I can say it's new anymore. It's been here for a bit over a year. However, there's been some different iterations. Using the Ford as an example, I can see that actually there's a field here that is MACC. Now, this is a bit of an inconsistency, unfortunately, that we're dealing with Partner Center. Is actually like, even though only one of the Ford company accounts has a MACC flag on it, Ford has a single MACC. So if you're selling to Ford, it will be a MACC customer. So I can actually identify that, okay, this is a MACC customer based on this, which will allow me to ultimately, prioritize this particular deal because I know that they have MACC that I can then sell in the marketplace against and use that MACC budget. Eric, I can answer that one quickly. Not in Partner Center, there's not a way to differentiate between strategic and majors or SMC or anything like that. Once you get connected to the Microsoft seller, of course, you could ask them for like further segmentation, but not directly in when you're deal sharing in Partner Center. And so I want to call out just around the MACC Flag. Great way to prioritize deals. Great way to share that with your sales and marketing team is telemetry of, hey, we might be able to secure extra seats or have a different version of the MACC, of the budget discussion, because they do have a MACC that we can draw against with our marketplace transactable solution. things like that. And then lastly, bonus tip is going to be when you select a customer account, you're going to see this customer contact pane come up. My tip for you is to ignore it. At this point, we're going to ignore it because it will circle back later during this help from Microsoft section. And at this point, it is optional bonus information that unless we choose a certain deal type like active co-sell, it really won't have a ton of value for us to spend time filling this in. So it's going to circle back automatically, and we will circle back. We'll decide if we want to fill it in at that point. So quick recap of best practice number 1 is going to be picking the right customer, that managed customer, so they're entering accurate deals, leveraging the MACC flag to draw insights and prioritize deals against. And then bonus is ignore that initial customer contact info request because it's not required at this point. It may become required later. And if we get to that point, then we'll spend effort filling it in.